Hello everybody, yesterday I did something very silly. I bought a new car. And don't worry, you won't have to skip ahead. I'm not going to eke this out any longer than it needs to be. But I guarantee you this, subscribers of this channel would never guess in a million years that this is a car that I would be buying. I started this channel with the Aston Martin Dad B9, and this car is actually globally rarer than a DB9. In the UK, they sold less than 500 of these cars. This is a car that's so cool that Lord Clarkson himself placed it at the head of the cool wall in Sub-Zero, ahead of the Aston Martin Vanquish. To my eyes, this is a two-door front-engine GT car. I mean, on the V5 document, it's actually down as a coupe, but I mean, it's more of a shooting brake, really. It's turbocharged, it's manual, and now it's mine. But have you guessed what it is yet? It is, of course, a Renault Avantime, my first Renault. And I never thought I'd say these words, my first French car. And subscribers of the channel, I know what your first question is. Are those shorts getting shorter? And no, these are the same shorts I wore day one on the channel. But the other question you're asking is, you didn't really sell your Maserati Grand Sport and trade down to an Avantime, did you? And no, I didn't. Don't worry, I didn't pay a great deal of money for this car. In fact, later on in this video, I'll tell you exactly how much I did pay for this car. But how, but why? So many questions, I'm sure. So look, let me explain. So the DadCar Grand Sport is still away, getting prepped and ready for its new owner. It went up for sale last week. If anyone watching this knows anybody who's interested in a Grand Sport, please send them the Auto Trader link, because the plan remains the same. Once I sell the Grand Sport, I'll be trading down to the next most exciting dad car that I can get at a lower budget. But while the Grand Sport's been away getting fixed for the last few weeks, I've been having to drive around my rusty Mercedes Vito, which is absolutely fine. The problem with the Vito though is it's only got 2 seats, and I've got 4 children. So logistically trying to get all the children to and from their clubs throughout a typical week, it's just been a bit of a pain with the 1 passenger seat in the Vito. But we need to keep the Vito because we've got loads of events that we're at this year. We've got a 6-meter wide marquee, which takes up a lot of space. So we need a vehicle which can take that to and from all of the events. And as I trade down with my primary dad car, I'm always going to take the bravest pill possible. And as you go down in value with some of these cars, I'm sure reliability is going to be an issue. They're going to be away getting worked on more and more often. So this was the idea. Sell the Vito and buy something which you could fit the marquee in, but has more seats and could be used as a backup family car. So I started looking at old estates, Volvo estates and Saab estates. Either of those would have been a lot of fun. And then this week, this car came up for sale and it wasn't too far away from me. Now, for as long as I can remember, I've always wanted 4 children. I grew up as one of 4 myself. So growing up throughout my 20s, having various different sports cars, I could always remember speaking to family and friends saying, yeah, I want to have 4 children if I can afford it. And they'd say to me, well, you'll have to sell those silly sports cars and get yourself an MPV if you want to have 4 children, to which I would normally promptly reply, ironically, in French to them. So an MPV to me, for as long as I can remember, has been an absolute nightmare. There's no way in hell that I would ever own an MPV. So why have I done the thing which I promised myself I would never do and bought something which, well, it looks like an MPV, doesn't it? Well, to be honest, that's why. The generic crossover is why. The generic SUV is why. I always saw the MPV growing up as conforming, throwing in the towel, conforming, doing what everybody else does. Whereas today, that comes in the form of your generic crossover, your generic SUV, when in fact for most families, particularly ones who aren't petrol heads, I think that an MPV is a far superior family car. Would be a much easier thing to live with and run. Oh, and in case you're wondering, I didn't set that up. Don't give me that much credit, that was just a coinkydink. It also happens to be a Renault as well. Now, I know this isn't really an MPV, it just takes the form of an MPV, and it's actually a terrible car to make the whole MPV argument with, but the perfect car for me with my very unique set of requirements. And one of the requirements that I've already said is all of the exciting events that we are going to be at this year with the DadCars Family Section, free activities for the whole family, with the aim being that you watching this can come to a car event, bring your other half, bring your children, even if you've got babies at the moment, we've got you covered. The DadCars Family Section with its soft matted area, some bean bags, toys to play with, free colouring in, treasure hunts and all the rest of it. So just quickly, go and grab your calendars now, because everyone keeps asking me, what events are you going to be at next? So we've got 3 confirmed events that we're going to be at. We're going to be at Silverlake MOTOFEST at Eastleigh Football Club on June the 15th. This is a local event to me, so we're really excited about this one. Event number 2 we've got coming up is a Sporting Bears Dream Ride event. Entry to this event will be free, and there's going to be loads of absolute dream cars, supercars, which you can pay a small donation to, 100% of which will go to children's charities here in the UK, and then you'll get to have a passenger ride going up and down the runway in one of your dream cars. JM on Cars, James, will be there potentially with his Ferrari F12, so you for a small donation could go up and down the runway with JM in his F12. Also, Mike Brewer has confirmed he is going to be attending that event as well. Entry, as I say, is free. So all you got to do is go grab your calendar, tell your other half, look, I've booked us a family day on Sunday, the 14th of July. And the final confirmed event this year that we'll be at with the DadCars section is Petrolheadonism Live in Knebworth on the 14th and 15th of September. Shiro is setting aside a massive space for the DadCars Family Zone. So if you would like to come and exhibit your exciting dad car, please reach out to me, send me an email, send me a DM on Instagram, because we'll have plenty of space in the DadCars Family Zone. Everybody is going to be at that event, all your favourite YouTubers. So look, that is one for the calendar as well. So if you want to come and see this car in the flesh, I'll put all the details to those events in the description below. But it's going to look so cool on June the 15th, having this and the Maserati Grand Sport either side of the DadCars marquee, because you know they're both in a similar shade of blue. It's going to look stunning. I hope to see you there. But come on, tell us about this car. How did this come to be? How much did you pay for it? Well, look, a couple of days ago, I got a message from fellow YouTuber Tom from Project 40. He sent me a link to Car and Classic and to this Avantime. Now, I hadn't been considering the Avantime as a Vito replacement, but I found the advert, I found the Avantime was drawing me in. Before I knew it, I was typing out a message to the seller uncontrollably. I then called him up and said, can I come and have a look at it? It was only 20 minutes away, almost like it was meant to be. I went to see the car, and I can't really explain why, but I said to him, look, I've got, in the back of the Vito at the moment, I've got the marquee. If the marquee fits in the back of this, I'll buy it from you. And so there we were, me, Roger, the previous owner of this car. We put the marquee in the back, and would you believe it? It fitted. This is the petrol 2-litre turbo variant, as I say, with a manual gearbox. This particular example sits on only 68,000 miles. And yes, I mean, it does wear its 22 years externally and internally, but it's an honest car. And Roger had it up for a very reasonable price. I explained to him my channel and what it is that I do. Roger's also a dad himself and has lived his whole life as a proper DadCarist with exciting cars. And so he said to me he'd be happy to sell it to me for £2,400, and it's now mine. I'm filming this the day after I purchased this, and I must admit, I'm still feeling conflicted about how I feel about having a car with this form. It's almost like, imagine if you were hyper allergic to dogs, and then you found yourself one day the owner of a big fluffy dog that molts a lot, and you're patting the dog and you're stroking it, cuddling it on the sofa, and you're having a good time, but your body is still rejecting it. So I'm still coming to terms with me having what appears on the outside an MPV, but I always say a proper dad car is something you can comfortably afford, which puts a smile on your face, and when you park up at a petrol station, do you turn around and have a look at it? And for this car, I can say it ticks all of those boxes. I will, of course, be doing a full, honest DadCars review on the Avantime. I also want to rig up loads of cameras and go and take this on a dad venture, see if I can fit all 4 of my children in this car, maybe take it to a car meet. What other ideas have you got? Let us know in the comments below. What other videos would you like to see me make with this car? What's your honest opinion of the Avantime, of me owning an Avantime? And if you don't already subscribe to the channel and you'd like to see more content on this car, make sure you subscribe. Check out the events in the description below that we're going to be at. I would love to see you there. Also check out the DadCars merch site for your family merchandise. And I'll see you on the next one. Want to hear the engine? What do you think? What did you say when you first got in it?
How do you like it?
How do I like it? What? Because it's not the sort of car that I normally like.
You don't like it. You don't like it.
You know me so well, don't you? Right, do you want to see why I like this car?
Why? What was that? Now I understand.
Okay, now you understand. What do you think of that? How cool is that, right? That's why we bought this car.